How to Create a Glitch Monologues Season 13 Chapter 7. This is Season 13 of How to Create a Glitch in the Matrix Monologues Episode 7. In this episode, we will be talking about federalism and the doctrine of inclusion. Up until now, we have been discussing states with a strong monopoly on force, exemplified in a strong federalist state with military and police affecting the state's sole authority to use force on the individual. However, the state's monopoly on force is only as strong as its control over the application of reasonable force. States which permit or even constitutionally protect their citizens' right to bear arms do not maintain the level of a monopoly on force, which federal states with strong gun controls do. There is a significant difference between these two kinds of states. In the state with a weak monopoly on force, individual social actors can resist force with force, in preventing a non-consensual reality. These states are inherently decentralized because they permit individuals to affect their will in preventing the imposition of a non-consensual reality. States with a weak monopoly on force are inevitably more effective as non-federalist states. The centrality of government depends upon the strength of the domestic police and force actors to monopolize force. Only then can the state impose a non-consensual reality upon its citizenry. States which are federalist with strong monopolies on force are more effective with centralized governments, because individuals lack the ability to prevent the imposition of the state's monopoly on force and the concomitant non-consensual reality. The doctrine of inclusiveness is by and large compatible with only a state whose monopoly on force is strong and federalist. The reason for this is that inclusiveness is a centralized form of non-consensuality. Which is to say, that it forces individuals to accept their shadow parts as inherent, delimiting their ability to impose a consensual reality on others. Thus, states which have weaker monopolies on force will find that participants will resist the imposition of an inclusive non-consensual reality by the state through the application of force on agents of the state. The entire basis for a consensual reality is the ability of its participants to determine the line between one's conscious self-attributions and one's negation. Non-consensuality is incompatible with outs, with autonomy, with a closed internal individual space for thought. Consensuality is what gives us the power of introspection. It gives us self-determination. It gives us autonomy. It gives us freedom. The elimination of consensuality through the state's monopoly on force means an end to these things. That being said, there are ways to impose a consensual reality upon a non-consensual one. Certain individuals are empowered to do so by means of their power over consent. Consent is the power to impose a consensual reality. Force is the power to impose a non-consensual reality. The attribution of these two to privileged social participants determines the power structure within the society. Non-consensual realities are unitary. They lack dualistic qualities. They limit social power to force actors. That's the end of the podcast for today. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment and subscribe.